Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What is good, guys? What is up? Welcome back to First Cut Live. This is your one-stop shop live show for all the movie news, goods, and everything you need to know. Catching up in Hollywood. I'm here as usual with the crew, Mr. Cruella DeVille himself, Mr. 23 with a money tree, RB3's in the house. What's up, bro?
What's good? I posted that little TikTok. I know Cam was probably mad because I didn't get the photos approved or whatever, edited or whatever. So I'm gonna definitely send them those ones back. It was good.
Hey, you know what's all good, bro. You got the crew, Lani, Kehlani. I am also here with Miss, I don't know, is it orange, reddish, mixed hair color, whatever color you want to say, fire, in the wind, Miss Rolling in the Deep herself, Sabrina Ramirez. What
okay,
is up,
Miss
girl?
Adele. I am doing good. Loving these intros as always. And I still can't get over how good RB3's hair looks. Like,
That's more
I
important.
can't get over it.
Thank you.
That's both of you guys, bro. Look at that, bro. I got a crew with like a mix of a hairdo.
You gotta hop in.
You're next.
Not happening. But I'm excited because we have a couple of movie news items today. Specifically was Last Night in Soho, which came out over the weekend, as well as a little bit of box office talk, and as well as a couple of breaking movie news today. So let's get into it. Starting off first.
I also saw the French Dispatch, by the way. I'm gonna talk about that too.
Look at you guys, man. Now we don't need to coordinate. We just do it. We just freestyle, bro. We just It's all good, man. It's all good. I definitely want to hear about it, Sabrina, because I guess we all saw something different this weekend. So let's start with October, Halloween. No one goes to movies during Halloween, I guess, right? Because that's kind of what the box office showed with these box office numbers that came out this weekend, with Dune repeating as number one with 15 million, which is a 62% drop. Obviously, HBO Max, a bunch of different factors can measure up to that drop, as well as like the holiday weekend, as I just said myself, where most people celebrate Halloween regardless, especially on a Saturday, because most people celebrate on Saturday on Halloween night. So I feel like this is a kind of lame weekend, but I believe this is the biggest month of the year. October seems to be the biggest month of the year when it comes to box office revenue. So that's a promising sign. How are you guys feeling about these numbers, and how are you guys feeling about the movies as a whole, specifically over this weekend?
I feel like, honestly, it was a little bit of an underwhelming weekend. Also, this is the first Halloween where I feel like a lot of people were really comfortable with actually going out. So maybe just decide to like skip movies or whatever. But like for repeat viewings, of course, like Dune is going to have that drop, which I don't even think is that big of a drop considering all of these factors. Same thing with something like Halloween Kills. Of course, that's like right in the spirit of Halloween. But Last Night in Soho debuted pretty low. And that's kind of, I think Last Duel debuted a little bit lower than that. But I feel like sometimes people aren't really necessarily going to see some of these movies that they think are going to be a lot heavier. I feel like something that they could get a little bit catharsis out of, something like Dune, being immersed into this brand new world, and then Halloween Kills, which is always fun. Everybody loves to kind of like have that moment of being terrified in that like contained way. So I'm not surprised to not see the strongest openings from something like The Last Duel and Last Night in Soho, but I'm still pretty pumped about the fact that over the last few months, we've seen the box office definitely take in some pretty big numbers, considering the fact that we're still in the pandemic.
Yeah, RB3, how are you feeling about movies as a whole, specifically when it comes to numbers? Do you feel like we're almost there? Are we going to reach eventually full theaters maybe by December? Do you feel like that maybe is a promising sign?
No, I think the era of the of the huge movies are going to be over pretty soon. I think, Spider-Man Far From Home is probably going to make it's probably going to be $1 billion movie. It's probably gonna be the first $1 billion movie we get post pandemic, but honestly, it might be the last because I don't think, honestly, it might stay high because of honestly how high ticket prices are currently. But I do think that at the same time, people are getting used to this theatrical release model of things going, to directly to video a little bit earlier, 45-day window. Some things are getting like a 14-day window. I think people are patient, and honestly, I don't see it as like the worst thing imaginable. I think for big movies like Dune, like Spider-Man: Far From Home, like all that, there's still like way more strategic stuff to not. There's way more strategic incentive not to put those in like a limited release window because of like, they're big movies, they're big theatrical like films. And I think with Dune, Dune, it had great reviews, it had great audience scores. It could have like held great in the box office in the same way that Avatar did when it came out in like 2009 and had a really successful run theatrically. But I think when most people went to see it after first weekend, they just went to see it like at home. And now I think, especially since IMAX theaters are going to be now dedicated to Eternals this coming up week, people are kind of falling off of seeing Dune in theaters, which is honestly sad, but they still greenlit the sequel. They already greenlit it. It's already moving. And I think to some extent, HBO Max has a good amount of data and algorithmic numbers, or whatever calculations to justify doing a sequel anyway. So.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. That's definitely the case for sure. But it still feels like there's something that could have been, right? If this wasn't on HBO Max and it wasn't the most pirated movie of the year, which I think it was. I believe I read somewhere that it is the most pirated movie of the year, which shows you that takes away so much money and so much opportunity. And as I told you guys, even repeat viewings is not even a possibility because that is something that most people would, go back and rewatch in the theaters, like an Avatar, like Star Wars. But HBO Max definitely takes away those numbers. And I feel like it takes away a lot of business, right? It takes away business from theaters. It takes away, an opportunity for Denis Villeneuve to maybe show off an even bigger number. But there's no denying that definitely has some effect. How are you feeling about? Oh, go ahead.
I do want to say, I also think part of, we talk about this weekend, the fact that this is Halloween, first Halloween we outside, last Halloween people weren't really outside. So
that's what I said.
But I'm just saying.
I just said that.
No, but I'm just like doubling back on that point because I think but like I think that really like, I think like that like triple hurts because like on top of people like all having all these options to watch at home, like people are like, okay, Friday, like I'm going to party, Saturday I'm going to party, Sunday like I'm going to be at home and I will watch like Halloween Kills or I don't know why Malignant wasn't on HBO Max. Like that's kind of stupid that wasn't on HBO Max, but Dune was. But I think people are just like resolved to just spending like they're resolved to partying Friday and Saturday, going hard, not being in movie theaters, and then just chilling on Sunday and watching their favorite movies at home. So
yeah.
Sorry, Sabrina, I didn't mean to repeat your point. Even though I heard you say it, I just yeah.
How are you feeling, Sabrina, about Dune 2? Dune Part 2?
I'm really excited for it. Obviously, it's greenlit. This is going to get rolling. I think this is still Denny's biggest opening, and this is still in the pandemic / post-pandemic, whatever we want to call it, era. So this is a success 100%. And I think audiences are really clamoring to see this sequel, especially with the way the first one left off. So I think it's in really good hands and a really good place. And hopefully Denny's able to kind of tell the story that he wants to, whether or not, because I've seen some like conflicting stories about it, whether or not he's going to do just that sequel or going to do like a trilogy, and really close out like the story of Paul within the books. And there's a lot to work with. And like, I also really appreciate the fact that they're kind of expanding everything that Dune is. Like they're showing us all these different facets of it, because for one of the topics that we have today, I feel like I can't necessarily say the same. One of the biggest major franchises of all time, I think, is like closing in its universe. So this one, I think we're just going to continue to see more and more. And that's what I'm excited about.
Let's get into the other movie that came out this weekend, and that is Edgar Wright's new movie. What are you laughing at, Sabrina?
Someone in the chat said, unlike RB3 and Ace, we listened to Sabrina.
I listen to you.
Guys.
We listen.
I know.
No.
I'm kidding. It's
Ace
all
wasn't
good.
listening.
Notice how I said I listen and not you. I listen, not
listen.
RB3.
You
Definitely
don't
not
Nah,
RB3.
both of you guys listen to me. You know, stuff's hard over Zoom sometimes.
Exactly.
I definitely listen. This is
No,
what
you
I do,
don't.
bro.
Ace
Yes,
be taking
I
my
do.
points all the time. Hey, by the way, I'm about.
I said I listen to Sabrina, not
None
you,
of us
bro.
listen to each other.
I'm about to delete that Dune episode too. By the way, I'm about to delete that stuff. I'm about to delete it.
What?
What happened?
What did I say?
Fans reaching out to me like, "Oh, Rob, you look like such an idiot out there. Like, do we need to come on the pod and school you about what Dune means? Like, do we need to show you what the names are? Da da da." This is the worst podcast we did since Michael Mann, since the Michael Mann episode. But at least with Michael Mann, we both look stupid.
I haven't read the comments, so I don't know the reference.
I have no idea.
Maybe
There's somebody in the comments like RB3 clearly doesn't understand Dune. But you're right, I didn't understand it. I got all the names wrong. I understand any of the storyline.
Dune is hard. The whole point of us is like to go through this and like talk about it and have that conversation with other people. And like, we're not 100% experts on everything all the time, especially when we just saw a movie and it hits you with so much exposition and information. It's so easy to get lost along the way. I don't blame you at all for that. Like,
I read a comment on our Succession video, RB3, where they were like, "I'm disappointed in you guys. You guys messed up the party that Kendall went to, and you guys messed up you thought that I forgot her name, like Yolanda was Latina, but she's actually Polish. Like, this is ridiculous.
Hey,
like, do
I'm
some
both.
research." And I was
Latina
like,
and Polish.
how are we supposed to know this? Like, how am I supposed to know she's Polish, and how am I supposed to remember whose party they went to? Like, what? I was like, okay, like, it's fine, man. We don't have to know everything. But I definitely want to get into Edgar Wright's new movie, Last Night in Soho, which has a mixed response so far. Sabrina is the only one of us that has seen it. So I want to hear your thoughts, Sabrina.
Definitely. I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen it. I did go to a screening about a week or so before it came out.
About a week ago?
About a week ago.
No, it's you know what I'm talking about, RB3. You don't know what I'm talking about, RB3?
Song?
Your face.
Yeah.
I just
Bobby
said it.
Schmurda,
Nobody listens to me. I
heard
literally
Sabrina
just
say it.
did the reference in the song. Oh my God. Anyways,
You're supposed to do it like him, bro.
She did it like
I did.
Okay,
She
my bad.
did her best.
She did her best.
Tried.
I thought it was great.
Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Last Night in Soho. I think this one is really interesting, especially in terms of like Edgar Wright's filmography. This is the first time that he actually has like a story centered around women. And Christy Wilson Carnes, who did 1917 and who's doing the next film with Taika, writing that one, she co-wrote this with him. And I find that to be kind of essential when telling a story like this, because at its core, and this is going to be non-spoiler since the guys on here like haven't seen it, but basically just highlights the exploitation of women throughout history and still in present day. Not to get into spoilers or anything, but like with our main character, who's played by Thomas and Mackenzie, we're kind of introduced to this person who is super passionate. She's going to study fashion and pursue a career in that sense. She's moving from like a small town to a big city. This is a completely new environment for her. And she also has like a sixth sense. This film's a little messy in its execution. I feel like it could have been cleaned up just a little bit more. And there's a ton of moving parts. But as we see in the trailer, she has this connection to Anya Taylor-Joy Sandy, who lived in the 60s in London. And she's able to kind of unravel this mystery. And it definitely takes a toll on her and her mental health. And I just found it to be so interesting. And I really, really, really enjoyed this. I do understand why some people could kind of come out of this feeling like a little bit like salty about it and not necessarily warmed up to the story, because since it's messy, there's a few moments that if you don't necessarily vibe with that particular thing, then it's just not going to continue to work for you, especially when we get to the end of the second act, beginning of the third. I loved it. I thought it was relatively deep. I think it's cool to see Edgar Wright take on this. Of course, in terms of his style and visuals, that all shines through. I think it's spectacular. In my opinion, it's one of his most like sophisticated pieces of work. And I can tell how much he genuinely cares about the characters of Eloise and Sandy. And I think that's a really important thing when telling a story like this. So it felt authentic. I resonated a lot with like both characters. And I feel like that's another thing that like people need to kind of like form some form of connection. But I feel like most women that watch this can definitely see, like we've talked about Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, and how every man in that movie is kind of like gross. You know, we're seeing this through the lens of like a teenage girl. And that's a similar case with this one. Not every man in this story is gross at all, but like you see this kind of life, moving to a city life, through the eyes of Eloise. And it's fascinating because like the second she rolls into London, her taxi driver immediately starts like hitting on her, and she has to get out of like the cab and like wait at a corner store for him to leave this area because she doesn't want him to take her home. And like all of us have kind of experienced something like that, whether it's like a creepy Uber driver or no matter what it is. So I really appreciated so many different aspects of this film, and it completely worked with me. I think we got definitely that like 70s, 60s, like psychological horror vibes from it, a little bit of like Argento, De Palma, but still with Edgar Wright's use like of his direction and his style. I think he definitely made it his own. And another thing that I was really kind of like entranced by as I was watching this is the choreography and the camera work that he did in the dream sequences. I think that's when he truly excelled. But overall, I love the story. I think it's something that is kind of important to show, even though I don't think 100% of it was like executed well. And there is a like, I don't want to say like a twist. I'm on screen by myself. Okay. There is a twist that if you don't like it, it's going to probably like ruin the ending for the movie. So that's why I'm not surprised to see that this does have kind of a divisive reception.
I think that is the only thing I've heard about this movie, Sabrina. And thank you for that review, by the way. You were on screen the whole time. But you killed that. You killed that. I did hear about that there's a twist in the movie and that most people either respond to it or don't. I feel like most people said they did not respond to it. I don't want to generalize, but that's just what I saw on my Twitter feed and in articles. But I feel like that twist worked for you.
It did. And I was actually having a conversation with a friend yesterday who was talking about why the twist didn't work for him and the way that he looked at it. And again, not getting into spoilers, but to me, I think focusing on that idea of like nostalgia and the exploitation of women and like looking back at different periods of time or whatever and saying like, oh, I wish I lived in this moment, or I wish I had this life, and kind of romanticizing any ideas. This shows like the negative effects that has, especially since our main character does completely romanticize the 60s. Like right at the beginning, she's listening to like 60s roots rock, like British invasion rock on her Beats headphones. And it's just like super ironic. And I feel like that comes across the screen very well. But that's what they were saying. They were saying that like, I don't know, the twist kind of ruined all those ideas and the ideas of the exploitation of women to them. But to me, I think it kind of enhanced it a little bit because especially when we look at history and we look at sometimes the way society puts a specific lens on women, there's only so much you can do as you're like beaten down in certain ways and you can never do anything right. It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you act this way, you're labeled as like a slut. But if you act this other way, you're labeled as a prude. And there's like rarely ever any middle ground. So I feel like this is just an exaggerated version of something like that.
Interesting, for sure, especially because it was written by a woman and written by an Irish woman, which I guess adds a little bit to it because of the music and because of the era. Maybe that'll add a little bit to it as well. I'm definitely curious. I still think I might check it out for sure. RB3, are you going to be checking this one out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Super excited about it. Edgar Wright is dope. And some people who don't really love Baby Driver, I don't really love Baby Driver. And people.
Oh yeah, that's you. I remember that. Okay. Yeah, we had like a whole discussion about it on the ride to Comic-Con with Brian. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Man, our Comic-Con rides are just like funny stuff, man. We talked about, I gave you my Spider-Man conspiracy theories on one of them. You put me on a Black Mirror way back before it was even like popular. But in terms of this one, I heard people who don't really love like Baby Driver and don't really love a lot of Edgar Wright's other original work say that, not original work, but I guess outside of the Nick Frost and Simon Pegg collapse, they say that this is probably his best one out of that, even better than Scott Pilgrim, which even I like Scott Pilgrim a whole lot. So.
I love Scott Pilgrim, yeah.
So I'm really...
What's your favorite Shaun of the Dead movie, guys? Shaun of the Dead movie. Edgar Wright movie. I'm sorry.
Trilogy? Oh, okay. I would say Last Night in Soho now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that's the thing, Matthew Farrelly, someone who's one of our subscribers, friend of the show, he loves Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is one of his favorite filmmakers of all time, and he put Last Night in Soho dead last. Oh, so wow. I don't know, because I like Edgar Wright. He's kind of hit or miss for me, but I always appreciate what he brings to every single film, even though I don't necessarily go to revisit it that often. I liked Baby Driver. This one, I have to do one more watch, but I think it's one of my favorites of the year. I think it's definitely somewhere like in my top 5. Right now, I think on Letterboxd, I have it as my number 1. So it might hold that spot after I give another rewatch.
RB3, what's your favorite?
Edgar Wright film?
Yeah.
It might honestly be Scott Pilgrim. Or if not that, or Shaun of the Dead, but it might be Scott Pilgrim, honestly.
Scott Pilgrim is so good. It ages like even like better. I love it. Well, I mean, certain moments, no, but just like how like out there it is. I remember watching it for the first time and like just absolutely loving it. And this one's kind of like the same thing for me. I think this is really ambitious for Edgar Wright's filmography. And I think he's definitely doing something that's completely out of his element. I mean, again, finally, like not finally, because of course any filmmaker could tell the stories that they want, but like having women as their protagonists. Like I appreciated the story he was telling. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you're right, Sabrina. I guess I haven't caught on. I think I've heard that once before, people or someone criticizing the fact that the way he portrays women isn't exactly the most unique or original in past films, specifically maybe Shaun of the Dead. But I definitely feel like maybe this is him kind of acknowledging that for sure with this film. I'm going to say Hot Fuzz, by the way. I think we did this all the way back in the early days, RB3, when we did our Edgar Wright episode 4. Yeah. Edgar Wright, The Meaning Of. But I said Hot Fuzz. I'm going to stand by it. Hot Fuzz for sure. But guys, let's talk about the trailer that came out today that I guess Sabrina has hot takes about. Let's start with your hot take on Boba Fett, Sabrina.
I just didn't really care for it. I thought it was super underwhelming. And like, I was kind of excited for this, honestly. I hate to be negative about this kind of stuff, but I feel like with some of these spinoffs, they're giving us just like more of the same. This didn't give me kind of the sense of urgency in terms of like, oh my God, I need to watch this. And I am a Star Wars fan, even though I don't talk about Star Wars too much online because like the community and stuff like that, we've talked about toxic fandoms and like things like that. But I just think that they're closing in on the universe and the galaxy. I would be more interested in like Mike Flanagan teased that he would love to do like a horror film set in the Star Wars universe. And I think something like that could be really cool because what we appreciate about Mike Flanagan is he tells very like human stories, like super emotional, which I know you don't know because you haven't seen Midnight Mass yet, Andres, even though I've been forcing you every single week and reminding you to watch that. But yeah, I want to see something different. I want to see something that's totally unique. This just feels like more of the same. If people absolutely love it and it gets like a ton of praise when it comes out, maybe I'll check it out, but I don't know. I'm just not excited for it, honestly.
RB3, I honestly don't know your thoughts on the project itself, but what did you think about, you got to play it just because we got it.
You know what I mean? I have to bring back the old days, man, you know, in the 2020s about a year ago.
Now that you said it, you know what? I'm going to say right here, coming next week, new Star Wars content right on this channel. I'm bringing it out. I'm bringing out new Star Wars content. Sabak the Block is back. Sabak the Block is here on First Cut Star Wars content featuring your boy, squad leader, number 1, Guru, Deku, Todoroki, Endeavor, number 1 hero, Ace in the house. I'm bringing that Star Wars content next week. I'm bringing in a new exciting series that I'm excited to talk to you guys about. But essentially, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a run through every single Star Wars movie. We're going to be picking out our favorite moments or something unique about them. I have a guest lineup that you guys are sure to be excited for. So make sure you guys are on the lookout.
Exciting stuff. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
That's right.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
I didn't know I was going to do that, but I did it. But either way, RB3, I want to hear your thoughts on the project, man. What do you think of the idea of making a Boba Fett show?
So what I think of the idea of making a Boba Fett. So I like Boba Fett. I liked him getting sucked into the sand dune thingy, Space Worm. Then I dug the I didn't see Mandalorian season 2, as y'all know. I didn't finish it all the way. I started it, then finished it all the way. I'm gonna be real. Like the first 2 episodes are kind of dry to me. I ain't gonna lie. But
the first 2 episodes are the weakest, for sure.
Okay, so then that's the one that Jon Favreau directed too. So that's kind of sad. So then the next one. So then I saw the trailer for this, and then I was really, really amazed at the part where Godzilla showed up. I thought that was crazy. I love the parts where Superman came out and whipped out his laser sword from underneath his pants and just started slapping people with it. It was just, it was dope.
Everyone knows that's what Superman does.
I loved seeing Jason Momoa's Aquaman, but with the shaved beard, so he looked like he did in Dune. So it's kind of
Duncan Idaho crossover. Duncan Idaho.
It's kind of crazy though. Literally, he's playing 2 characters in this show. He's going to be playing both Duncan Idaho and Aquaman. So we got an Eddie Murphy situation going on. 2 characters in the same thing.
I don't even how did the graphics even get so good where they're going to be in the same scene together? I have no idea. How they're going to even be able to do that. They
learned from The Parent Trap, and it just exponentially got better ever since then.
Speaking of The Parent Trap, I love seeing Lindsay Lohan cameo in this trailer. I thought that was amazing. We're really getting to come back here. They're bringing back my homegirl Stacey Dash. I saw her playing in the background as well.
Not Stacey Dash.
Bring back those Clueless vibes. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you see people wearing the Stacey Dash Clueless get up. It's oh, that's dope, but also it's a little problematic now. I don't know. I thought this whole trailer was dope. Sanaa Lathan was looking great. Everything just about it was just awesome. So definitely.
All right, fess up, bro. Fess up. What's going on? What you do?
I did not get a chance to check out this trailer. But I will be here for the next one. I was the wrong button. My bad. But I will be here when the show comes out. So.
But I still didn't get your take on making an entire show about Boba Fett.
Bro, who cares about Boba Fett? What's Boba Fett? Who's Boba Fett? Didn't he been selling toys for this dude for 10 years? I thought I cared about Star Wars when they made The Force Awakens. That was 6 years ago? I thought I cared. And they had me caring. And then I have a bunch of toys. I still have a bunch of toys. I love the movies. They're great movies. I've watched the movies, studied them, evaluated them, read a lot of great books. Ken Knopf's book, Why I Love Star Wars, great read. Another book, How Star Wars Conquered the Universe, another great read. Love Star Wars, love the fandom. Can't stand all these shows, can't stand anything that they're doing right now. I ain't gonna lie, I saw a couple episodes of Visions after Squad Leader Ace's amazing review of it. But then beyond that, I don't really think there's anything else in Star Wars universe that I'm really interested in. So there you go.
Damn.
Let Mike Flanagan make something horror related in the Star Wars universe. I feel like he's the correct person to take it in a new direction. ground this story in humanity, put some emotion to it. This is a freaking war. There's so much more story to be told. There's probably a lot of horror, because it doesn't even need to be like a straightforward, like only horror fans could love this. There's a lot of stuff he's done, like Midnight Mass or Blind Manor, that aren't even necessarily that scary. Like they just have horror elements to them. Lean into that. Do something new. And hire Raul Coley.
I feel like I really do feel like it's interesting, right? I mean, obviously, I'm excited. I'm going to watch it. I'm doing all that jazz. I can skip all that because of, you guys know who I am. Y'all know me. I'm y'all's number one Star Wars fan. I'm going to watch it regardless. I love it, and I'm going to probably enjoy it. But I do feel like there should be a little bit more, seasoning, a little bit more salsa, a little bit more merengue. Just, bring in a little bit more, culture. Give me some culture inside the Star Wars universe. I feel like if I really did like a whole dissection in my Star Wars Visions video, if you guys ever saw it, but really, really writing that Geeks of Color review, I took it so damn seriously. And I just really deep dove into like Star Wars, meaning everything anything you can possibly interpret from Star Wars. And I really do feel like what makes Star Wars different from everything else, and even just watching Dune, guys, because we talked about it when we saw it, right? But Dune, I had no idea that Dune inspired Star Wars. And the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, it's so much like Star Wars because of Tatooine, Arrakis. You can make mirrors between Paul, Luke, the Force, the Voice, the Sardaukar, the Stormtroopers, the Emperor. You could call the Baron Jabba the Hutt. Like, this is so much similarities between the two stories. The suits, the space, the travel, the hyperspace, the lightspeed travel. And yet, what makes Star Wars and what makes Dune is just so different and so unique with each other is the characters, right? We like Han Solo. We really, really like Han Solo. We really like Leia. I think they really made the first movie what it is, for sure. And maybe that'll be Fennec Shand for sure. Maybe that'll be her character. But obviously, Tamara Morrison's Boba is going to be a very straightforward, military, all business kind of guy. And I feel like we need a little bit more personality in there. And I really do feel like that's something they need.
Movies. Give us the Star Wars movie with like a little baby, like a baby kid. Like, wouldn't that be
like
cool?
A Baby Yoda?
Not Baby Yoda, but like a 7-year-old like kind of kid.
God, that was episode 1.
Yeah.
Well, I mean with like a good kid actor. I mean like with like good, like a good story behind it. That can be dope, right? It could be like Avatar, Last Airbender.
And also like Andres, like you mentioned, like the whole thing about like Dune inspiring so many different stories. I remember when I was like in English class, we talked about Hero's Journey and how there's so many stories that you could literally just fill in the blanks, take Harry Potter, Star Wars, or whatever it may be. So like, I think something like that is cool. And I'm really happy that we're getting this new one introduced, something that has, like deeper meanings within it, even though I guess people watching our episode didn't pick up on that. We know that. But yeah, I think it's really refreshing that we're getting Dune. And now I feel like Star Wars is seeming a little bit bland and stale, because like, why do we need to see Boba Fett? I thought he was cool because we didn't dive into the character. That's why people loved him. That's why he was dope. What we saw of him, we loved. And now it's kind of like, this is just in my mind because I've been talking about the Halloween franchise for so long, but like in Rob Zombie's Halloween, the reason why Michael Myers became not scary and not cool is because we spent the first 30 minutes looking into everything that made him become the person that we see in the films. And that's the same thing with like this Boba Fett now. I don't want to see that.
Your Halloween Resurrection tweets this past weekend have just been amazing. The poll.
Speaking of which, can I say something?
What?
Someone spoiled Halloween Kills all over Twitter.
Who?
And that someone is in this Zoom call right now.
What?
Is in
What
the
I
First
do?
Cut Live.
Oh, the video?
And I was like, I guess I'm not watching Halloween Kills anymore because RB3 just spoiled the whole thing.
It wasn't a spoiler. It wasn't a spoiler. I mean, you know he's gonna kill people. Like,
yeah, but you show all the kills.
It's literally called Halloween Kills.
I know he's gonna kill people, but I don't want to see every single person he kills.
The trailers show, like, if you watch the trailer, it showed basically all of that too. Like, they did not hold back at all. That trailer.
Did you see the video? RB tweet retweeted.
I saw the video, but if you watch the trailer, I swear they showed like half of the kills, and everyone's like, "It's called Halloween Kills," so like, you know, expect it. But why'd you watch it though?
I didn't watch it. I just saw
How
he
do you know?
tweeted it. I saw he tweeted it.
I feel like there's more.
It was like a supercut.
I feel like there's more kills that weren't even in that supercut too.
I think there was too. Yeah,
but that just to me was just, Brad. If you've seen Halloween Kills, and please go on my Twitter.
I haven't seen it. I haven't because I was waiting for y'all, and I thought we were gonna see it together. And I was like, "Yo, I'm excited."
We still can watch it.
And this guy freaking retweets it.
I know it's past
I guess I'm not watching it no more.
No. I know it's past Halloween. We're still 100% doing a watch along to this because I cannot stand this dumpster fire of a goddamn movie. Literally, my boyfriend right now, who is like the biggest fan of this movie for some reason, he's watching it right now with our friend Mikey Chu. Are you sure you don't want to
rethink y'all's relationships?
No, literally. And the thing is, Resurrection is a good goddamn movie. Like, Resurrection is fire, and people do not appreciate this one. And I'm being so serious. Like, I'm not even being ironic. Resurrection is good. Busta Rhymes is like top 5 characters in the entire Halloween franchise. I'm not even kidding.
Hands, bro.
Yeah,
literally.
You're right.
Busta was throwing them hands, bro. You got to do that.
He was.
Yeah.
He was like talking shit right to Michael's face. Who's done that? Who's done that in the Halloween franchise before besides Laurie, I guess?
Yeah.
No, definitely. Halloween Kills is a must watch though. I mean, for anybody who wants just like the worst like kind of like slasher movie, but in like the funniest way possible, like that's that movie, like for sure. Man, there was I did see a movie this weekend too myself. If we want to talk about that,
please do. Just give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. But go ahead.
All right, cool. I'll try and see if I can set up a solo shot of myself while I'm talking.
Do it.
100%.
They so I ended up seeing the Fringe Dispatch this weekend, which is the new film from our boy Wes Anderson, who I know Ace is not a fan of, so that's why I probably left this segment right now. I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson. I really enjoyed his last few movies. Obviously, everybody loves Budapest Hotel. I even liked the Isle of Dogs. I went to a little indie theater in like North Hollywood to go see that one. I'm a big fan of his work, and I think he has. I know a lot of people get annoyed by like how stylized his style is, and how like overly expressive it can like be. But I personally enjoy that filmmakers who have style and whatnot, or have a particular kind of vision. So going to this movie, I had expectations. I really had no idea what the story is about. So, and I don't know people who people like are interested in kind of keeping that position in the same way I do. I kind of don't like to know that much about going into it, but there will be some things that we'll be talking about, not spoilers per se, but things that I didn't know about going in. But basically the story of the French Dispatch is about a newspaper of the same name in France, ran by Bill Murray. And it's kind of like a love letter to like journalism. And it kind of tells the story of like all these different journalists stories, all these different journalists / the stories that they've like covered like over the years. So there's a brief one with like Owen Wilson. There's a lengthy kind of segments, but it's mostly like vignettes. It's very like vignette-y, very inspired by like French New Wave cinema. Something that we've seen a lot with, I think, we talked about last year with Steven Soderbergh's movie with Meryl Streep. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But that movie had like a lot of like French New Wave, like kind of references and inspiration as well. But this one kind of takes like that, but like way to the next level, way down to like certain framing, certain homages to certain like Jean-Luc Godard films, certain Fellini films, and it just feels very so it does have that vibe. a lot of it, and I talked about Wes Anderson's style and how he kind of has like this very bold, colorful palette in a lot of his films, and I think this one kind of offsets that a lot because the vignettes mostly take place in like black and white. So that's something that I also didn't know going into the film. I didn't know how much of the film was going to be in black and white. I guess if you watch the trailer, a lot of it's in black and white. But that's something that is too. So it's a little bit different in the fact of it's a little more stripped down Wes Anderson, where you're kind of just mostly relying on the story and the characters that are like kind of being told. So I ultimately really like it. I think when it comes to like vignette movies, ultimately it depends on how much you like the vignettes and which vignettes you like the most and which ones you like the least. I love the first one. There's a few smaller ones, but the first big one featured Benicio del Toro, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually get the cast list right because this is a huge epic cast that's like involved in this. That vignette was really amazing. They have a vignette with Timothée Chalamet, which, by the way, shout out to Timothée Chalamet. He had Dune and he had French Dispatch come out on the same weekend, having the big weekend. That segment I was not the biggest fan of, but then they ultimately ended with a beautiful part with they ended with a beautiful part with Jeffrey Wright, and I think that was just an amazing segment as well. So yeah, there's so many great pieces to this film, parts of this film. Every single person in the cast, like I said, Benicio del Toro, Adrian Brody was hilarious. Tilda Swinton, Lea Seydoux was great, even though she was mostly like a side. She didn't have like a lot of lines in the movie. Frances McDormand, Timothée Chalamet, like I said, Jeffrey Wright, Owen Wilson, Bill Murray, our boy Tony Ravioli. Tony
Revolori?
What I call him? Tony Ravioli?
Ravioli.
Yeah, there we go. And he's in it very briefly. Yeah, it's a good film. I definitely recommend it for people who like are looking for a decent, like a good piece of like art house cinema that like feels very throwback to like the French New Wave kind of style.
I'm really happy that you enjoyed it because I've heard some mixed things about like people saying this was like his most pretentious or whatever, but I don't really pay attention to any of that when I go into a film. So I'm happy you enjoyed it. And like, I love French New Wave. So that gets me more excited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're like queen of French New Wave, Sabrina.
Yeah. I like that I have that title. Let's keep it going.
And I think if you dig, like, I think for me, I also took a lot away from, just like there's a little bit of like revolutionary spirit that kind of like seeps in and out in between throughout the vignettes and like the themes that they're trying to represent. And I think that's really dope. And I think if you're somebody who digs journalism, like, I don't know, maybe I'm somebody who's like a little biased because I like movies like The Post, or I like movies like All the President's Men, where it's just like journalists like doing things. So I just appreciate that. I appreciate it on that level too, but I think it's dope. I think if people are interested in seeing it, I'd recommend it. But I definitely say, like, if you think Wes Anderson is pretentious and you like don't like his films, don't go watch it because you're in for more of the same too. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's going
hyped.
to be the case. There's so many movies, right, guys? Like, what a wild time that we have. Like, I'm behind on so many films that I was like, I'm going to watch in theaters, and I have not seen any of them except for Dune. I was going to watch, what was it called? Titan.
That one. Oh my God.
I was going to watch it. Didn't see it. I was going to see The Last Duel too. Has anyone seen that? I was like, oh, I'm going to watch that. And I was I haven't seen it. But
also, I think it literally made like $4 million in its opening weekend. So I don't think anybody really saw it, to be honest, which is kind of unfortunate. But I've heard, speaking of like Ridley Scott, another like two Ridley Scott films this year.
Bro.
I heard House of Gucci has a very long runtime, and so I don't know. I don't even know. I was really excited for that one, but it's like 2:45 or something like that.
I gotta be honest with y'all, man. When Ridley Scott does,
you saw it?
No, I haven't seen it. But I think if Ridley Scott when it's like Ridley Scott doubling up on movies, like when there's two movies in the year, it's usually a 50-50 shot. One's gonna be good, one's gonna be bad. And a lot of people were saying The Last Duel was really good. So I don't know what that means for House of Gucci. Maybe you got two slaps.
That would be unfortunate because like Adam Driver is in House of Gucci and he was in Annette earlier this year, and I could not get through Annette. I started it 3 times and I would get in 15 minutes and I would end at the same place every single time. Then I would restart it like a day or two later. And so I've only seen the first 15 minutes 3 times and it was just something else. I don't know if anybody likes it in the chat, but yeah, so Adam Driver in that one. I think House of Gucci, to me, I'm going into that one for like a good time. I feel like it's going to be a little bit camp. Like, you know, especially I love Lady Gaga. So I think I'm excited. I'm much more excited for House of Gucci than I am for The Last Duel. I just feel like the story, it's probably done well. Ridley Scott's fantastic, but I don't really care to see it that much.
Apparently Jodie Comer is like the main character and she's awesome. So I'm excited to see it. I'm going to watch it no matter what. This week is going to be a wild week for me. I'm going to try to catch up on movies as much as I can. I have to, because I feel like The Last Duel is like a must watch for me. Considering Ridley Scott's my GOAT. I've told you that a million times, RB3. He's legit my GOAT. I love that guy. I love everything he's made.
Is it sad that I don't really like want to go out and watch movies? Like, no. Let me shut up.
What?
No. I'm actually kind of with you, bro. Isn't it kind of a weird time right now that the 2 biggest film fans are kind of like, I'm kind of struggling, bro. I'm in the same boat. I'm just like, bro, you know, we got Succession, we got like, you know, Why the Last Man. We got so many good TV shows on that part of me is like, do I want to spend $20 on a movie that I might hate, that I might not like? I don't know.
Come to A-list.
Get A-list. Yeah. Then you spend $20 a month and you can see as many movies that you don't like because you're not really losing anything.
I was an ArcLight member, bro. I was straight up. I hope
they bring it back.
I got that membership, bro. I had that membership cred.
Whenever the ArcLight is opening up, we are 100% going to see a movie together and like doing a vlog or whatever it may be.
It was like a part of me, man.
Licorice Pizza.
They have that ArcLight?
No, Licorice Pizza, the movie, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Oh, yes. You know, my boss at my job, Justin, he did the exact same thing to me. He was like, did you see the trailer for Licorice Pizza? I was like, what? And like, it took me forever. Yes, the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Yes, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out in like December. So hopefully the ArcLight is open by then. Does that look good to you
guys?
It looks fantastic.
Does that look good?
I didn't see the trailer.
Does it look good to you?
I don't watch.
You haven't seen it?
Paul Thomas Anderson movies, no.
He's never made a bad movie.
Yeah, come on, man.
He's never made a bad movie. Like he literally
was just the trailer. Just the trailer was just like, oh man, I don't know.
What?
Come on. It's just me.
I strongly disagree.
Okay.
I think it looks fantastic. And so like hopefully.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no.
I was gonna say PTA is one of my top 3 of all time. Like, you know, if I'm not gonna like even think about watching a trailer for it before I get into seeing this movie for sure.
Yeah. I ArcLight, man, I swear, man. Y'all know, y'all went with me to see some movies there, to see a lot of movies there, man. That thing was like a part of me. RIP, man, never forget. I went to ArcLight before I met you guys. I went to ArcLight for the first time to go see 8th grade, Bo Burnham's 8th grade. But then after I met you guys, I went so much. RB3 and I saw like Uncut Gems there. Mm-hmm. We did so much. We went to like the Russo brothers screening of Infinity War there, RB3. Right, and then like I went to go see Knives Out with you, Andres, like at things. Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So Knives Out.
I ended up seeing so many movies there the second I got started.
I think I saw every movie. What was the first movie you saw there, RB3? I'm curious now that Sabrina brought it up.
First movie I saw, like ever?
First ever.
Oh, I don't remember first ever. I don't know. It's probably like some 2015, something like 2015, something like that. It might have been. I think
mine was before. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I went to the premiere for London Has Fallen at the Cinerama Dome. Yeah.
London Has Fallen out of everything. I think I saw Nightcrawler there. Nightcrawler. That's 2014. 2014, bro.
Oh yeah. Actually, my first one was the Santa Monica ArcLight. I saw Logan in like 2017 when it came out. It came out in 2018?
I think 2018.
Yeah, I think it was like early 2017, like January, February, March, sometime in that. Yeah.
I remember watching Force Awakens there too. And that was 25th.
I gotta tell y'all, there's a segment in my life in March, between March to May of 2018, where 2017, I was absolutely dirt poor, broke. And the only way I was able to like afford to be able to go to movies is because like back then Schmoes did a promotion with like XD, the movie theaters with the 4DX, like the moving seats and all that.
Yeah.
So then, and they had that at the LA Regal downtown LA by downtown, in downtown LA. So then, so I shot the little thing from them. They were like, hey, here's like 8 free tickets. I was like, okay, cool. So literally like the next 8 movies that I saw from like March to May were just all 4DX. And I gotta tell you, what an arrangement. It was Logan, Beauty and the Beast, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was just like the wildest, worst thing. Not worse. I can't say worse. It was bad for most of them. It was fun for Guardians, but it was terrible for Logan. Not good for Logan at all. Like at all.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't do that, bro. Y'all know me, bro. I hate gimmicks. I hate 3D. I hate all that. Just give me a screen. And that's it. That's what
I haven't seen a 3D movie in a really long time. I'm not against it. I just I don't know why I just haven't done it.
It was it was crazy because for Beauty and the Beast, they literally had you like spinning in your seat, like when not full 360, but like the thing did like a little twirl whenever like the camera was spinning and all that. Like it was just like the craziest thing ever. And then with Logan, it was super trashy because whenever you were in a car, it just did like you were in the car, like what the? And it's like, oh nah, get me out of this immediately.
That's too much.
That's way too much.
Crazy. That is so insane.
Can we just say though, there's nothing like watching movies in theaters, right? I just still feel that way because after watching Dune in theaters, I've been telling everyone like it's just not the same watching it at home. It really isn't. And I rewatched it at home and I was just like, it's really not the same vibe. And I love having to experience every moment and every pacing moment or every situation that might feel like it's just keeps going or keeps dragging out. And you just kind of have to kind of ride with it. And I also love that you have to experience Hans Zimmer on full blast. You can't lower that shit, bro. Like you can't lower that shit on your TV. Like, oh, turn that down. No, bro. Blast that freaking screaming lady in my ear, bro. Hans Zimmer all the way up. I love it.
Yeah, Dune's great. So. Dune's good. I finally rewatched it even after our podcast. So now I got
I came out of that theater ecstatic. I was so happy. I mean, y'all saw me. I was like, man, I adore that movie. I've turned into like a Dune fan account on my Twitter.
I forgot if I asked you, but are you going to read the book?
I am. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you asked me because I part of me is like, do I wait for part 2? But now I'm just so obsessed with like,
I don't feel like it'll take away
and the themes and the characters and the actual like, entire vibe of the movie. Yeah. That I want to read the book, which is kind of an indication of what good movies can do. Good movies can drive you to other facets of that story or of that entire genre.
Maybe we need to do a book review or something whenever like the second one is coming out or leading up to it or sometime in between from now till then. Please, because like I've been meaning to give it a reread. It's been
Do you want to read it with me, Sabrina? Like at the same 100%.
Time? RB3, you too?
Y'all should share the same book and like read it, like share pages.
No, I don't know
like
about
over
that.
Zoom. That'd be great. I think, I'll listen to the audiobook with y'all for sure. Like,
yeah, I think we should do like half and then like the second half or something like that. We should do a book club. I love reading.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That was the stupidest. I'm just like, I love reading.
No, we all love reading. We should love it.
Rainbow comes out.
The book, I love it. I mean, like speaking of like reading, I just read My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I think it would be so cool if like a few times a year, if we kind of read books that are being adapted into movies, like or in the works, because I just read that one and Yorgos Lanthimos was attached to direct it with like Margot Robbie starring and producing as well. So like that was one that was interesting. There's just so many. I have a whole shelf on my bookshelf that's just ones that are being adapted or have already been adapted that I've read prior. Cause like, that's the way that I love to go into things. Like I love to like read the book first if I'm able to. I wasn't able to reread Dune, but now that it's literally only a portion of the book, it gets me more excited to actually pick it back up and get into it.
Yeah, let's plan it out because I mean, afterwards we can see if maybe November, maybe end of November, we can try and do something. And
we'll meaning of part 2, redeem ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They put out the Ready Player 2 book that I downloaded, but I have not read. Just because I listened to the audio. I mean, listen, I keep saying read. I listened to the audiobook for Ready Player 1, which is actually kind of good. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm one of those kind of dudes. Like I might read a book or listen to the audiobook for something, and like be totally disappointed when the movie comes out. The only time that didn't happen was Hunger Games. That's the only time that didn't happen. But with The Martian, I was like, this is trash. I haven't watched like Martian. I literally watched 3 times because I was like, that was my roommate. That was my roommate, and he was so annoying to me. He was like, "No, bro, the book, bro. Like you don't even know, man. Like the book, bro. And I'm just like, shut up, man. This ain't the book." Like literally, my roommate would not shut up about The Martian, and I was like,
"We should read Twilight."
I love Twilight. I have all the Twilight books in my thing right here.
I didn't bring them when I moved, but I would love to repurchase them or to grab them from like a random.
If you guys want to do like a re Hunger Games, y'all know how I feel about those books and those movies.
I don't like the Hunger Games. I have never liked the Hunger Games. I don't know what it is. My sister was really into that. Like as they were coming out, she was reading the books, and that's the only time I've ever seen her like get super hyped for books and movies before. And still to this day, I've never seen her get hyped for books or movies. But and maybe I'll have to read the book to get a better appreciation of it, because when I think I only saw like the first. There's 4, right?
4 movies, 3 books. No, 4 books. 4 books. 4 books.
Okay, I saw the first 3 movies. But I've been reading a lot of some of the smaller stories, like not necessarily anything like fantasy or sci-fi, but like I read Normal People, which is based off, or the Hulu show is based off of that one with like Paul Mescal. I thought that one was really great.
Yeah, there's so much good content out there. It's kind of ridiculous, whether it's movies or shows. I watched Succession last night. I don't know if you watched it, RB3.
Yeah.
But I love that show. I love what's coming out right now. It's kind of hard to keep up. No way, she did?
Yeah, she directed last night's
episode of
Succession. Yeah.
That is wild for sure. But I definitely feel like there's so much good stuff out there. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we take off?
I just want to say real quick while we're on the topic of books, people should really check out the Disaster Artist book. I think that one's a dope book. I think the movie kind of like botched the adaptation just a little bit. I mean, not just a little bit. I see what they did, but they made it. They made the movie about Tommy Wiseau, but the book's really about the Greg Cesario character. So if you really want to like check out like a good exploration of like how to become an actor in Hollywood, like that kind of struggle, I think it's worth it on that. Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. The Sixth Man by Andre Iguodala is one of my favorite books I read recently. No Rules by Reed Hastings, who's like one of the co-founders of Netflix. So that's the one I'm on right now. So
give me Iguodala, bro. Give me Iguodala.
Yeah.
You know that reference, right?
No,
Kellerman. Max Kellerman.
I didn't see that.
You don't know that? Oh, bro. All right. I'll just say it off camera.
Shout out to Lakers. We're 4-3 now. You know what I mean? We're
4-3.
Looking good.
In the middle of the pack, bro. Right out of the playoffs.
Carmelo's looking great. Shot like 11 of 16 for these past like 2 games. So
yeah. Alrighty, guys. Let's close it out. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here. Where can everyone find you?
Come along, children.
Hey, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sabrina X Monica, also on Twitter at Sabrina on Film, and Letterboxd, which I've actually been using pretty often. I think it's just Letterboxd / like whatever, Sabrina Ramirez. I think I was the first person to snatch up that username.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
RB3.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3.
And I'm at Squad Leader Ace, guys. Make sure you guys keep it here on First Card for all of the movie news and good stuff coming to you this week and obviously next week. As I said, I do have some Star Wars content hitting the First Cut YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're peacing out. Peace.
I'm employed now.
Woo!
I have a job.
Period.
It's Britney, bitch.